Okay, I'm going to have a very short video before we starting next practical videos. Um, Actually, my plan for next video is to use firewall, pfSense firewall in on premises in our VMware environment, and then connecting that one through IPsec tunnel and see whether we can work like whatever we did using remote access using Windows Server 2022 in previous video. Instead of Windows 2022 server, we're going to use uh, pfSense firewall. I have been doing some videos for OpenSense, which is very similar. pfSense is a more commercialized version of same thing going forward. So I'm going to use pfSense firewall to get IPsec tunnel and creating IPsec tunnel, and I'm going to use one of our on-premises machine to access virtual machines in uh, Azure to check how the routing works, right? And today we are going to briefly discuss border gateway protocol as well. So border gateway protocol is a very common use protocol. So as in this Microsoft document says, as on-premises network gateway can exchange routes with Azure Virtual Network Gateway by using BGP instead of routes we created static ones. So we can use BGP. BGP can dynamically find out what are the best path for the routing. So using BGP with Azure Virtual Network Gateway is dependent on type you selected when you created the gateway. We don't have any option to create or can create express route, but I can't use something like uh, real production scenario. But it says express route. You must use BGP to advertise on-premises route to Microsoft Edge router. You can't create UDR to post traffic to express route virtual network gateway. So in that case, if you're going to use express route, you have to use BGP advertised facility in your on-premises router, which should support sort of like routers nowadays support these things like Cisco and all other popular routers. VPN optionally you can use BGP for information site-to-site VPN connection. So if you want to use site-to-site connections, we can use BGP, right? Uh, it says when you exchange routes with the Azure by using BGP, a separate route is added to the route table of all subnets in a virtual network for each advertised prefix. The route is added with virtual network gateway listed as the source of next hop type, right? So we can when we use the demonstration of BGP, we can see what are the routes adding from BGP to this route table, right? And the route propagation shouldn't be disabled on gateway subnet. So route propagation means it's automatically propagate routes, right? You can disable express route and Azure VPN gateway route propagation on subnet by using a property on a route table, right? When you disable route propagation, the system doesn't add route to the route table. All subnet with the virtual network gateway route propagation disabled. This process applies to both static routes and BGP routes. Connectivity with VPN connections is achieved by using custom routes with next type of virtual network gateway, right? So route propagation shouldn't be disabled on gateway subnet. This gateway won't function if this setting is disabled. So we can't disable that one on gateway subnet. And briefly, I'm going to explain how in this documentation how Azure select a route. When outbound traffic is sent from a subnet, Azure select a route based on destination IP address by using the longest prefix match algorithm. For example, a route table has two routes. One route is 24 address prefix, the other route from 16. The same address range, but as you know, 16 included 24, but if the traffic destination 10.0.0.5 next hop type is specified in route 10.0.0.24 uses because it's a longer prefix than 16, right? Even though IP address 5 poles within both address prefix. So in my previous example, I showed you this one, like inside the subnet, you use virtual network, and then in a whole VNet, we use virtual network appliance for routing. If you look into my previous two videos, you should see that, right? And this is, they explain how these routings work, right? If multiple routes contain the same address prefix, Azure select the route type based on following priority. So the priority as below. So user-defined routes. If there's a user-defined route, Azure use that one. And then if there's no any user-defined route, it's going to have a look in any BGP routes, right? There's no any BGP routes, then it goes to system routes, right? And there's a node system route for traffic related to virtual network peerings or virtual network service endpoints are preferred routes. They are preferred even if BGP routes are more specific. Routes with the virtual network service endpoints as the next hop type can't be overridden even if when you use the route table, right? And you can see the default is 0.0 internet, but user defined route is 0 virtual network gateway. Uh, so Azure select the route with user source, right? It's a high priority than system route, right? So that's what we did. We saw that when you override the user defined routes, it will override and system routes become invalid in a radius table. All right, I think before we start in the next video with the IPsec tunnel with PFSense firewall, uh, I think this will give you a clear idea how this routing is working in Azure and on-premises with the various type of routes, right? I think this is for this video. See you guys from next video. Thank you.